Llalia Afrika, with nothing but love we have for you because, as you know that, from you come here, you continually sharing information with us. For those who might hear for the first time to Llalia Afrika, right, it might be wise just give a little introduction about you. I know you got involved with the whole thing about health.
When you're a kid, you just didn't know. So I came out of that kind of diet background, and from there I went to school and didn't know what the hell was going on half the time because I was hungry.
You was hungry, right.
Because I stayed with my grandmother, and she had a cute husband who had good hair. And so she would put us out the house at 5 o'clock in the morning because she didn't want us to disturb her husband.
Mm-hmm.
So my brother and I, we would sit in the school window to feel the heat coming out because we were freezing in the winter. Because school didn't start around 8, so we sat outside in the snow and everything because my grandmother didn't want us to disturb her husband who had good hair. Whatever.
Mm-hmm.
So I come through all of that stuff, man. And some kind of way I heard somebody say, don't go through the middleman, always go direct.
Mm-hmm.
So they said, don't eat the cow, eat what the cow eats, go direct. And I said, that makes sense.
Mm-hmm.
So the next year I said, I'm going to try that January the 1st. So January the 1st I tried that. The next thing I know, I eliminated that, and I eliminated milk, and it was just a step-by-step process. And most of my learning was done with white people, but what I had to know, I had to learn on my own.
Mm-hmm.
I used to go up to historians, John G. Jackson.
Llalia Afrika, with nothing but love we have for you because, as you know that, from you come here, you continually sharing information with us. For those who might hear for the first time to Llalia Afrika, right, it might be wise just give a little introduction about you. I know you got involved with the whole thing about health.
When you're a kid, you just didn't know. So I came out of that kind of diet background, and from there I went to school and didn't know what the hell was going on half the time because I was hungry.
You was hungry, right.
Because I stayed with my grandmother, and she had a cute husband who had good hair. And so she would put us out the house at 5 o'clock in the morning because she didn't want us to disturb her husband.
Mm-hmm.
So my brother and I, we would sit in the school window to feel the heat coming out because we were freezing in the winter. Because school didn't start around 8, so we sat outside in the snow and everything because my grandmother didn't want us to disturb her husband who had good hair. So, whatever.
Mm-hmm.
So I come through all of that stuff, man. And some kind of way I heard somebody say, don't go through the middleman, always go direct.
Mm-hmm.
So they said, don't eat the cow, eat what the cow eats, go direct. And I said, that makes sense.
Mm-hmm.
So the next year I said, I'm going to try that January the 1st. So January the 1st I tried that. The next thing I know, I eliminated that, and I eliminated milk, and it was just a step-by-step process. And most of my learning was done with white people, but what I had to know, I had to learn on my own.
Mm-hmm.
I used to go up to historians, John G. Jackson and people like that, and say, what do black people know about nutrition? He said, son, I don't know about that.
Right.
And I go to Henry Clark, and I go to this one, and they say that I don't know.
So you speak to Dr. Henry Clark, yeah?
Yeah,
Yeah.
I used to take care of him before he died.
Okay.
I took care of him and this guy you call Stokely Carmichael, Kwame Ture,
right.
and I took care of H. Rap Brown and John Carlos, the guy who held his fist up at
the Olympics, yeah.
Yeah, I took care of him and his wife and all. That's just part of my background. But anyway, I'm just saying, I just struggled and learned things on my own and
Right.
And I just answered my own questions, and I ended up writing that book, African Holistic Health.
Right. And that become one of your big sellers.
Yes, consistently a good seller.
Yeah.
I don't know why. I really don't, because I come kind of direct in it.
Mm-hmm.
And I think it was because of the black ladies. They're the ones who promoted my book the most. Yeah. I would say that.
And which health practitioners like now who influence you, or even then time there? Was in around them time there?
No. At the time I started, Dick Gregory was the only person that had a health book out.
Mm-hmm.
And he knows some things about health. When he get in trouble, he calls me up. Which I tell my wife to take. I said, okay. And I give him advice on health. But No, it wasn't nobody around. It was.
Okay then. Okay then. What I want to do, Dr. Africa, because I want to go straight to the chase, and I really want to look at the whole thing about fibroids and prostate, and I know my friend listening right now. And what is fibroids? Because you did break it down with us last week, but it'd be wise to break it down again.
It's no problem. I'm a scratch record man. I say the same thing over and over again. I don't think I've used my brain in about 20 years. We have a uterus. It's smaller than your fist, and it's made of muscle fibers and glands. And you can get a bump on your skin, or you can get a bump inside of the fiber. So when you get this waste inside of the fiber in a bump shape, we call it a fibroid. So it's the same as a bump on your skin. It's a collection of waste. It can come from condoms. It can come from douches. It can come from birth control pills, which shouldn't be called birth control pills because they cause abortion every month. The ladies get pregnant, but they have abortion every month. It's actually an abortion pill. It's not a birth control pill medically. So all of those things cause the fiber of the uterus to get weak, and it sometimes collect waste. And the more waste it collects, the bigger it gets. So a fibroid can get to about the size of a grapefruit easily, or it can get to the size of a pea, a green pea. And this is very stressful because the fibroids grow like a tree, and they grow roots.
Okay then.
The roots go into the fiber of the uterus, and they trap blood inside, and they squeeze the veins and the nerves, and they cause a lot of pain in ladies. So every time they move, the fiber tries to move the root of the fibroid like a tree, and the tree roots resist it. So the ladies feel some pain when they menstruate or walk or laugh or have sex. So it's a difficult situation. 60% of the black women in the world have them. It's an epidemic.
Fibroids.
Yeah, and 60% of the black men have prostate problems in the world, because it's basically a systematic attack on the reproductive system of black people. But we don't view it that way. We have lost more people during freedom time than we lost during slavery, because we dying every day, crack, shooting each other, those kind of things I'm talking about. Yes, so I would say that the ladies are not aware of what caused it. Most ladies have never even seen their own vagina. They don't look at their own reproductive system. Men are forced to look at it because if we didn't, we'd grab the wrong damn thing. But women, mostly have never seen the lips of their vagina in their life, because it's a whole thing about that mystique about it being evil and got Adam in trouble and all that kind of stuff. And so it's a lack of knowledge, because they dish with the wrong things. Some ladies use bleach, some use vinegar, and that causes scarring and scabs inside of the uterus itself. So it's a bit of a problem, because the fibers of the fibroid can grow and block the fallopian tubes and stop the egg from coming into the uterus. Or fibers can grow at the mouth of the uterus, called the cervix, and stop the period from coming out steady. So they have a period, then it stops, then they have a period, then it stops, like that. So it's according to where it's growing, it's the most difficult thing.
Yeah. And what can one do to reverse the process? I mean, in terms of start to take control, because obviously, I mean, one of the things you talked about last week is your diet, and dairy products also grow the fiber. I mean, just want to what we can
It's going to be a challenge, because nothing happens overnight. You weren't born overnight, so it's going to take some time. They have tampons that don't have the bleach in them that causes inflammation and fibroid tumors. There's a lot of chemicals in their sanitary napkins and tampons that are dangerous, and the same chemicals in diapers, by the way. So they would have to get clean sanitary napkins and tampons from the health shops. They sell that. So they would have to change that sanitary napkins, and they would have to get away from things that cause growth to accelerate, like steroids and hormones, as in dairy, fish, turkey, chicken, fish, beef, it's in all those kind of animals that women are not aware of. So they're taking things to stimulate the growth of the fibers. They have to stop that process.
Okay then. I want to forward on to prostate, because you touched on it last week, and again, we decently we have to keep touching on it.
Oh, it's no problem, brother.
Because we want to make sure we hammer on the information. And what is prostate? Because again, Llalia Afrika.
The prostate is a muscle about the size of a walnut in a shell, and it sits right below the bladder. That's the major problem with it. The tube that from the testicle where the sperm is made goes into the center of the prostate. And so when the sperm gets into the center of the prostate, the sperm is hungry, so it's something called semen that gives another tube that gives the sperm some food so it can live. And then there's another tube that lubricates, makes the water nice and slimy. So in the center of the prostate is like a washing machine where all of these things are mixed together by the muscles contracting and expanding. And the only problem with that is the tube that you pee coming from the bladder goes through the center of the prostate too. So when the prostate gets inflamed, it gets large and swells up. It traps the fluid in the bladder, and the fluid in the bladder is septic, meaning it's full of bacteria and waste. So bacteria start growing in the urine, and then it goes up to the kidneys and will destroy the kidneys.
Okay,
so it's a very dangerous problem. The male reproductive system is very fragile. In the world, if a boy makes it till he's 2 years old, he will live. In the world, boys die at a higher rate than girls. Most of the children that are naturally aborted are always boys. It's a very fragile system that the men have for some reason. The women have a good system. They have triplets. I mean, they got it going on, but we got a very fragile system. So 3 or 4 bacteria can die in that tube and stop the man from being fertile. It's just how fragile it is.
And again, same principle. We still have to change our diverse approach to this. Again, we have to change our lifestyle and our diet.
Yeah, that means you have to stop being a Negro, and that's going to be rather difficult. I'm just trying to be straight with it. We have to stop doing those things that are harming our future, and our only future is our children. Men are pregnant every month because they're making sperm every month. A woman gets pregnant, that's it. You got 9 months before she can get pregnant again, but we are constantly being pregnant because we constantly giving birth to sperm, and we don't see it that way. We think we have steel balls or something like that. That comes from an old saying that when they had ships, they used to have a brass monkey, and they used to put the balls that you put cannons in on the brass monkeys. And when the weather gets cold, the brass monkey would shrink, and so the balls will fall off the brass monkey. So we think we got those kind of balls, brass monkey balls, but we don't have all that going on. It's just a whole lot of stupidity runs amok in the black community about their reproductive system. The thing is to understand that the herbs are there to help you, and the herbs can solve the problem. But they can't solve the problem if they're constantly fighting alcohol or constantly fighting, you follow what I mean, toxins or something. You got to help the herbs along by eating food naturally. Saw palmetto, which is a berry from the palm tree, is good for the prostate. It's just a no-brainer. Red raspberry leaves that they made a play about called Huckleberry Finn.
Okay then.
Huckleberry was a black man who found this leaf. There are a lot of herbs named after black men. Huckleberry is one, guana is another. There are quite a few. But every time they found a herb, the white man would kill us. So we would point to this herb as for that, and he would kill us so he could keep the secret. So Huckleberry, they made a play out of it, made out of something silly, but that was an actual black man that was pointing to this plant to save these white boys' balls. I mean, reproductive system. So we have red raspberry leaves, which the ladies use for their reproductive system. The thing is, when we had our culture, During your rites of passage, that's when the boys were shown, this is the herb you need because you're becoming a man.
Okay.
And the girls were shown, you need red raspberry leaves because you're becoming a woman.
Mm-hmm.
But we don't have our culture, which I mean the rites of passage.
Mm-hmm.
So we don't have this information passed down. They stripped us of our culture and they stripped us of our eyes to see our future.
Mm-hmm.
It's not just about change, it's about the other things that went with our culture, which is being introduced to the right foods at the right age. And they say, look, you're too young to do that dance. You can't dance like that. You're not old enough.
Mm-hmm.
See, they have restrictions on what kind of dance you could do and what kind of food you could eat. But our culture was taken from us, so we don't have the legs to run on.
I mean, my question would be, though, Africa, is that how can we, start to take health seriously or be responsible for health? Because one of the challenge we have that, we just willy-nilly just playing with health. I mean, you made a statement, I think sometime last year that, we're literally digging a grave for our own teeth, and it's like, it's only probably not even a handful of people really take this thing as serious, I mean, what can we do, or when to really start to get a revolution movement in terms of health? I mean, because we hear these things and we just, but I think the addiction is quite strong. I mean, because sometimes when you get bored or you're by yourself or whatever, you're so addicted to taking the same biscuit or beer or whatever. I mean,
we're addicted to being white, is what you say. That wasn't our food.
Yeah.
So that's just part of being oppressed. We want the white man's Grammys and the Emmys and all that stuff, and we want his food, and we want his sexual practices. So we're going around doing his sexual things. We want white.
Mm-hmm.
It's the same thing. It's just in another flavor, and we think it's different, but it's the same thing.
Mm-hmm.
Ice cream is ice cream. You can call it strawberry or chocolate, but it's still ice cream. So it's still the same thing. It's just another flavor, another color on the rainbow of being oppressed. Well, what we can do is do minor things, like stop eating sugar, stop putting salt on all our food. Start off little. Stop frying your meat, boil it or bake it. Start off little.
Right.
And don't try to do all this stuff overnight. Yeah. That's not going to be work.
So it's what you're saying, it's really a slow process. Just take your time.
Yeah, it's a slow process, but technically, any habit you have, you break in one day. One day you do it, the next day you don't. It doesn't matter. You can go slow all you want, but one day you do it, the next day you won't. So breaking a habit is always a one-day issue. But psychologically, we got in the head, I got to go slow. But one day you're going to smoke, and the next day you won't. You broke your habit in one day. But that's the psychology of training Negroes to think that all this, no. Every habit is broken in one day. Every habit is made in one day.
Okay, I want to open the live link, which is 07984 931 588. 07984 931 588. I'm going to ask my sister if she wants to ask a question.
Oh, nice seeing you again.
It's nice seeing you again too.
Yes.
Now I have one question on fibroids.
Okay.
For the cure of fibroids, I have a dear friend who suffers from this condition. And recently she said to me that there is no cure. I'm not qualified to answer or to argue, but I'm relying on your expert advice. Is there a cure for fibroids?
Yes, it's no cure. It's according to what medicine she went to. It's like you have transmission problems and you go to a body repairman. He says, no, I can't cure that here. Yes, they can't cure that there. You need to go to somebody who has the cure. And she went to knocked on the wrong door, asked the wrong question, and got the wrong answer. So you have to go to another type of healer, and they would have another solution for her.
But doctor, these are the medics in the UK.
Yes, those are allopathic physicians in the UK.
Right.
Unfortunately, the Queen of England uses homeopathic physicians.
Right.
She doesn't even use the medicine you're talking about. There are other medicines, and available: homeopathic, allopathic, and naturopathic.
Right.
There are 3 branches of medicine. She keeps going to one branch of medicine, asking the same question, getting the same answer.
Right.
You have to shop around. If you want to get a bargain, tell her it's a bargain, and she'll find the damn thing.
Well, I believe she's listening, Doctor. So
Yeah, okay, I'm just saying.
You can tell her, be strict with
I'm
her.
telling her, you have to try another way, and there's nothing wrong with trying another way. Just try, and she can tell when the fibroids are shrinking. All ladies can tell. She takes certain herbs, shepherd's purse, alum root. Take those herbs, and she can feel the fibroids shrinking. That much I guaranteed.
Well, I hope she'll take your advice.
I hope so too, because
Okay.
she can lead the way to others, for
Right.
others if she does.
Okay, I'm going to ask you another question. This time, not on fibroids. Something different. The condition tendinitis in the foot. How do we get rid of it? Get rid of those.
I would suggest changing the shoes.
Just the shoes, Doctor?
I would suggest that, because the shoes that most ladies wear are totally ridiculous. You do not grow pointed toes, so why have pointed shoes? Your toes are not pointed. Why should you have? I just can't answer these things. But itis means inflammation, and she needs to get things for. The person needs to get things for inflammation, and they have cat's claw that's good for inflammation. They have MSM, that's what's on the label, MSN supplement, that's good for inflammation. And she can get it. The person can get MSM and cat's claw anywhere. France, Barbados, I've been all over the world and get it easily.
Okay. And is that a permanent cure or?
It's inflammation. You can bump your finger and get it inflamed. You ask me, is the inflammation of the finger permanent? I'm saying no, not at all. No, you just take the anti-inflammatories, the cat's claw, MSM. Sometimes I have to even use fennel.
Okay.
Yeah, there's many things you can use. I can go to your kitchen and pull out all the stuff I need to get rid of that condition. That's easy.
Oh, okay. Well, I hope she's listening.
I hope so too.
Taking your advice.
Yeah.
Those are my 2 questions for tonight. Thank you, Doctor.
Oh, I thought you had more.
I do have some more, but I've not sorted them. I'll come back to you a bit later.
You promise?
I promise I will.
Okay.
Okay then. Thank you for asking those questions, you know. Llalia Afrika, in terms of the future holds for you, because, I mean, I know you've written some books, and in several books you've written, right? I mean, next question would be asking, would it be like a documentary? Is there people talking about doing a documentary on you, or or some kind of...
I'm not all of that. I'm like a private person, and I really... A guy called me up and said he wanted to do something, Wesley Snipes or something.
Wesley Snipes.
Yeah, he did a documentary on Dr. Henry Clark.
Okay then.
And he called me up and asked me, he said, I said, people are not interested in me, man. Don't bother me, and I hung up on him. I shouldn't have did that. He's a nice guy. But no, I'm not all of that. There's nothing interesting about my life. I've been shot, I've been stabbed, I've been robbed, I've been mugged. The usual black things, you know. Nothing interested. I had relationships that failed. I mean, I tried to make it with a sister, and we couldn't make it. I mean, really, I was young, and nobody taught me about relationships, so I kind of struggled through it. I said, you want to talk all the time? You know, I talked to you yesterday. Can we talk next week? I said, please. I didn't know you're supposed to talk to these people when you're in a relationship. I was treating it like it was, I talked to you. Damn, really?
Right.
I was a private person, man, so it's kind of difficult for me to get into
Into that. No, because just, because I admire you, and you're one of to me, the leading health consultants out there, and I've always said that to me. It's my personal opinion. To me, you're the best out there. To me, you're the best in the world. And I'm just saying that. I mean, I'd imagine that a lot of people come to you and tell them, probably want to make a documentary about you and eventually do a film. I don't know.
Yes. nothing unusual about my life.
Mm-hmm.
I just lived a regular black life, you know. I had white heroes, Superman. I used to work. I thought Tarzan was the greatest when I was little. I mean, I went through the same oppression kind of stuff, man. You know, but I guess I was kind of put in the right place at the right time. One day I was carrying my instrument. I used to be in the music and went to school for arrangement. I used to arrange stuff for the Philadelphia Opera Company. Idiotic stuff, man. Really, nothing to talk about. So in any case, I was carrying the instrument wrong one day, and God told me, you come by my house and I teach you how to carry that instrument. I said, okay, no big deal. I went by his house, and he taught me how to carry my instrument, and then he started giving me lessons. And I said, okay. I didn't think nothing of it until he died, and all these people came to his funeral. I said, who in the hell is he? They said, that's Trummy Young. He played with Louis Armstrong.
Right.
Those are people that founded playing a solo. Louis Armstrong invented the solo art form. That's why he's so famous. So I didn't know that. To me, he was just another guy. So I just kind of went in run into people who mentored me. So I had a father, but he was a player. He was a real player. Diamonds in his tooth, you know, all that kind of stuff. He used to wear handmade shoes and handmade hats, man. And here we are living off of powdered milk, you know. He was a real player. My mother caught up with him and had him locked up for child support for 2 years. But it's just one of those things, man. There was nothing fabulous about my life at all. I can't think of something exciting that I did.
Okay, I want to ask another question. And to me, this is a very important question here, because in terms of looking at other scholars like Dr. Savi, Queen Afua, and there's quite a few of them out there, do you come together like once a year and have like a health conference and look at, you know, tackling the whole thing about health issues and that stuff?
No. A lot of people in the health business are certified Negroes, and some of them are just plain old rip-off artists, and a lot of them are just merchandise salesmen, want to sell you a whole room of stuff. So they got various degrees, but we have an organization. We should get together once a year, all of us, and just share information with each other. But that kind of died out when a few of the members died, and that's the way it went. I don't know. It was all right for a couple years. We were all getting together and all that, but a lot of the chief people in the business died. Okay then.
Because I mean, saying that now, because I think it's very important that, you know, like here, because I mean, what I like about last week, the week before at Brixton, where Steve and Sally had the Meridiana Foundation, and he was able to bring quite a few health practitioners come together and at least discuss, you know, the whole thing about health and help to promote other practitioners as well there. And I think that's something we probably need on a worldwide scale. I mean, I'm just, you know, from African...
Yeah, we have an International Healers Association now.
Right.
We got that going on, but people are not... They need to be motivated. I was the president at one time, but then I became vice president and all that sort of rut. But we have International Healers Association, people in Benin and in Togo and South Africa and Ghana, but we haven't gotten together like we should. Because people come and go in this profession, sort of like soccer players or something. It's come and go, and you have 2 or 3 good players on the teams, and that's how it goes in the health industry. It's 2 good stars, as you call it. That's about it.
Okay, then. So it's not really being consistent because of people just... probably their commitment, I suppose, or whatever the reason why.
I don't know. I suspect it has something to do with Negroitis or something like that. Because a lot of people are jealous of each other, man. They get into all of this ego stuff and all that. And I don't have the energy to deal with that anymore. I used to be an organizer of people. I was trained by the federal government in the U.S., and I was the organizer. That's what I did for a couple of years in various communities for the psychologicals. Well, anyway, I used to run tests on black people. I got paid for it, but anyway, I know how to organize, and I used to do that for in a mental health institution, and I did it for the military, going and organize for them, and nobody knew I was doing it. And there's certain skills you need to organize, and I was trying to teach that to people, but they said, why don't we get together? Well, you got to hire somebody to help you get together. You can have the best players in the world, but you damn sure better get a coach, because somebody has to coordinate these good people getting together. They don't have to be in charge like the president or anything like that, but there's someone behind the scenes that helps organize people, and that's what I used to do.
Right.
That is a skill. You have to go to learn this stuff, man. You have to know how to manipulate and control people, and that's a whole nother issue. And I wanted to teach people that skill, but they thought it was a lecture or something. I said, no, I'm trying to teach you how to organize. Don't be up front. You be in the back and you organize. The organizer for like Martin Luther King was Dixon. He was a lawyer from down south. He was in the background. He organized J. Philip Randolph's Sleeping Car Porters March on Washington. When he marched on Washington, he said, we got to march and get something. Don't just march to sing some damn song, you know? And he organized that, and he won. The Sleeping Car Porters, they won their rights because they demanded something. They said, we don't get what we want. We're going to lock down Washington. We're going to block the airports. We're going to block the highways. And now these other Negroes come to Washington and stand around, sing some song, and listen to some lectures. But Nixon, the lawyer, he said, no, we're going to block everything. We're going to shut down America until we get what we want. That's what the march was about with him. But he cursed, so he wasn't the one to be out front. You know.
Let me ask you a question. Malcolm, did you know Malcolm personally?
No, I don't know Malcolm personally. I just know things about him and his sister and stuff like that.
Okay, now just for you, if you work with people like Malcolm X, I can only see you mentioned Dr. Henry Clark. You work with Dr.
I just Henry Clark and a couple other people. No, I didn't know Malcolm personally.
Okay.
He was busy running his mouth, and I was on my way to school. I said, I'll listen to him tomorrow. But there was a whole lot of people around at that time. It was that time. It was a time when we were doing something. We call it the 60s, when we had the Black Power. And, we were doing something. And this stuff that's going on now is totally disgusting. I mean, we used to, if the black cop came in the neighborhood and beat up your mother, we would go to his house.
And deal with it, yeah.
And his child would be missing. I'm telling you stuff we used to do. And you see posters on the wall, this white child's missing. Yeah, that's right, because that cop messed with somebody. You're damn right, they're missing. They're missing in the grave. That's when we used to do stuff. But now these people just walk around rapping about it. I'd call them chumps. If you don't go to sleep every night thinking about killing white people, then you're Uncle Tom as far as I'm concerned. But I don't talk like that because I'm a healer, you know. But no, that's how I am.
Okay then. The live lead number is 07984 931 588. I repeat, 07984 931 588. Okay then. So that's the live lead. So people please phone in, and because Dr. Life's going to make a move very, very shortly. So, and also let people know that he will be at Stamford Hill Library on the 20th of October. The time from 11 a.m. to 3 p.m. And the subject is looking a natural look at prostate cancer and fibroids. What do we know about them, and what can we do about them? And that'll be taking place at Stamford Hill Library. That's on the Saturday, the 20th of October. And also you're doing a lecture this Thursday at Centerprise.
Yeah, that's right.
I can't remember the time. The time is usual time from 7 to 9.
Yeah.
Do you know the subject, Dr. Afrika?
I think it's holistic relationships and holistic sex and how to tell them mates on the down low or masturbator or something like that.
So we're looking at everything about sex and...
Yeah, and primarily how to build a relationship.
How to build a relationship.
And repair a relationship.
And repair a relationship.
Yeah.
So anybody wants to know about relationship, preparing relationships,
or getting out of one. All the skills you need.
Please come down to Centerprise this Thursday, time from 7 to 9.
Yeah.
And, trust me, that's going to be a very powerful. Yeah.
Okay, Dr. Llalia, I'm back again.
Oh, thanks for coming back.
Thanks for wanting me to come back. I have a question here. Oh, from a texter. What causes four-leaf clover syndrome? As musician, Prince Roger Nelson's son, Gregory, was diagnosed with it.
I don't know. The syndrome is not a disease. Syndrome is a collection of diseases. So technically, he's just talking about a lot of diseases they lump together and say it's a syndrome. So I have to know specifically what they're referring to, symptoms, signs.
Okay. Okay, caller. I hope you heard that. If you'd like to call in, the live link number is now available. It's free. You can call in, or you can send us another text. Thank you.
Yeah, they have a lot of what I call designer names for old diseases. They just give them a new name. Like leprosy, we call it Hansen's disease now. But it's still epidemic in the world. But if you look on the leprosy, you won't see anything. You think it's gone, but if you look on the Hansen's, it's all there. Leprosy has not gone away.
Okay, I see. Right. Okay, I have another question here, this time on high blood pressure. Is there a cure for high blood pressure?
We can only cure hams. Let's just keep that straight.
Cure hams?
Yeah, you cure hams, not people.
Okay.
You treat an illness.
Okay.
There's something going on there. So high blood pressure is primarily caused by the arteries getting too stiff to expand, so you get more blood to your brain when you start using it, or your legs when you start running. So when you need more blood, the artery has to get wider so it can deliver more blood to you. But the pressure is caused because the arteries can't get wide. So when your brain needs more blood, the only way to get more blood is to increase the flow of blood, increase the blood pressure.
Right.
So it's probably something to deal with the arteries getting too stiff, losing their moisture either from salt or sugar or bleach white flour or alcohol or vinegar that is doing that. So they would have to look at their diet. The one thing that even an MD does is take them off of salt, because the salt pulls the moisture out of the arteries, but they have to also take them off of sugar, because sugar pulls the moisture out of the arteries. They also have to take them off. See, what happens is when you process something.
Just a moment.
Just a moment.
Sorry to cut you, Dr. Lefka. Dr. is live. Greetings.
Good evening, good night.
Yeah, can you hear us?
Yes, I can.
Okay, then. Have you got a question for Dr. Afrika?
Yes, I'd like to know the explanation, not the explanation, but when we talk about fibroids, what is the cause, or why is there so much of an increase of fibroids? I do know quite a few people who have had fibroids in the past, and some of them have been treated different ways, and I know there's supposed to be different ways of treatment being done on fibroids. And does he agree that fibroids should be operated upon, or is it that it's safer to, I don't know, what other processes that they can do to deal with fibroids? The other thing is, what creates fibroids? That's what I'd like to know.
Okay then. All right, he mentioned that earlier. Probably just phone about. Just. Yeah.
The fibroids are waste in the fiber of the uterus, and what creates waste is junk food primarily, or drugs, or synthetic steroids. Things of that nature cause an increase of waste in the body, And the uterus is very sensitive to waste because it must protect the unborn child. So anything that's to damage the child, the uterus will collect it quickly. And it collects it in a form called a bump. And that's what we call a fibroid, because the bump is inside the fiber of the uterus. What we do is normally try to shrink the fibroids and dissolve the waste. The primary herb that's used to break down the waste is called horsetail, because it turns into a fine like sand, like you have a dermal abrasion. That's horsetail is used for that. And we use herbs to shrink the fibroid, and that would be shepherd's spruce, wild alum root, thuja, herbs such as that. And that's primarily what we do. We have to pinpoint the diet as well.
Yeah. Okay then. My sister.
Yeah.
All right then. Listen, we're having a event specifically talking about prostate cancer and fibroids at Stanford Hill Library. Yep.
Okay, yeah.
Do you know? Listen. Do you know anybody? Do you know any sisters going to chance with fibroids?
I know a few people who have had fibroids.
All right then. What I suggest is that they need to be at this event, right? At Stanford Hill Library on the 20th of October.
Okay.
Yeah?
Uh-huh.
Right? And then
I know some people say, I know some men who have had prostate cancer as well.
Right. So they need to be there as well.
Uh-huh.
Right? So
Okay.
it's £5 to come in and £7 on the door.
Yeah.
Right?
Okay.
And
yeah.
then we're going to your thing about prostate cancer and fibroids, yeah?
Yeah.
Right? So it's very important that they need to be there.
Uh-huh.
Okay then, my sister? And
Thank you.
And thank you for the you have any more questions you want to ask? Or
no, well, it was just to do with the fibroids, and because I know there are different types or there are different ways of dealing with them.
Mm-hmm.
And then the other thing was, the concerns with prostate cancer that seems to be affecting a lot of people.
Mm-hmm.
And my concern about that as well.
Okay then. Well, we're going to go into that, like I said, on the 20th of October
Okay.
at Stanford Hill Library, yeah?
Yeah.
And make sure the time is from 11 a.m. to 3 p.m.
Mm-hmm.
Right? So make sure you tell those people they need to be there, yeah?
Okay.
Tell me, sir, have you seen Llalia Afrika speak before?
I've heard of him through friends and who've met him and found him very informative. So I look forward to meeting with him on that day.
Mm-hmm. Well, you know, he's one of the best in the world. So, we encourage many people to come all down here, the great Dr. Llalia Afrika. My sister, give thanks for your for the phone call, yeah?
Okay.
All right,
Thank
then, give
you.
thanks. All right, then.
Bye-bye.
Okay, then. Right. Dr. Afrika, I know he's in the flow because I know the sister, you was on the sister question, so I didn't want to cut your flow, Dr. Afrika, but true, we're trying to get some person to call it. So, yeah,
I
keep the flow.
I understand. It's just, we're just trying to get the information to people.
That's right.
So
people
feel free to interrupt.
Yeah, that's right. Go on, Dr. Afrika. Continue your flow. Go on.
So what we're trying to do is achieve a better understanding of our body so we can be well. And the problem is people lack information. That's the major problem.
Greetings.
Yeah, greetings.
Yes, sir.
Just a quick question. What could the honorable guest tell us about insomnia, which a lot of people are suffering from, and it will become more of a condition rather than a disease in the future? And could we have some advice upon this topic, please? Yeah? Insomnia.
Well, most people want a remedy, so the remedy remedy is, of course, herbs such as catnip, chamomile, valerian, hops, passion flower. All of those can be used to help the person calm down and get some rest. But bona fide insomnia is very rare. Maybe 10% of the people at the most have bona fide insomnia. Some people think they haven't gone to sleep and up a whole hour when they're up only 5 minutes. I mean, they're not looking at a clock. So they don't really have certified insomnia. But the problem is usually caused by not enough energy to sleep, which is mostly a pancreas thing, a diabetes thing, a sugar thing, and the thyroid gland getting weak. What we do is we eat anti-thyroid food. The cattle and the pigs and all of those animals are put on an anti-thyroid diet, which shuts down the thyroid so the pig can get big and fat. And it shuts down the thyroid so you can get a big cow. And it shuts down the thyroid so you can get a big woman.
Can I just interject, please?
Yeah, suggestion for the thyroid would be a seaweed called kelp. Suggestion for the pancreas would be bilberry, which is a herb. The mineral is vanadium. The vitamin is chromium. Those are some suggestions, but the problem is that they are taking an anti-thyroid diet, and the thyroid is underactive because the diet is shutting down the thyroid. That's why you get all these overweight children. They're on an anti-thyroid diet. They don't have enough energy to sleep.
Now, if we know such a condition or an illness or disease exists, and we know it can only excel by people using these social networks and staying up too late at night, right? So what will you recommend will be the sleeping pattern excluding afternoon nap siesta?
You're correct. People suffering from a sleep disorder, and they start out very young with a sleep disorder. They start out very young with that, primarily because they're on a computer late at night and playing the computer games, and they're not getting proper sleep. And you're totally right. That's a matter of discipline and saying, I need to get to sleep. I want to do something during the day, and I need to get to sleep, so I'm going to get off the computer and get off the laptops, and that's a social issue there.
And what could be like the side effect if one don't get sufficient sleep, or if one don't sleep at the recommended advised time? What are the side effects or the mental well-being? Because Dr. Llalia Afrika, tell you honest truth, our community suffers from serious sleep deprivation.
Sleep deprivation is the primary thing that we use for brainwashing people, by the way. When I was into psychology, we used sleep deprivation as the primary tool you do, because it breaks down your emotional defense for negative things. So you want to cause all the black children to have sleep deprivation. Let a 7-year-old child stay up to 10 o'clock at night. Any child under 12 that's up to 10 o'clock at night has sleep deprivation. And you want them to have sleep